Enduro race at a horse track. And I'll tell you, it is going to be a beauty, ladies and gentlemen. We have the top riders of the world here today. We've got champions of all calibers here, and we're going to interview some of these guys and show you some of the hot action that's going to happen right here at Canterbury Park. A very unique situation. We have a racetrack with a lot of moguls and a long straightaway, and that's something else that's never been done before. You're going to see it all right here at Canterbury Park this afternoon. Standing with me here is Tony Aiken, the rider of course, one of the top skidoos in the country, sled number 1W, and he has really dominated the field in the qualifying so far. We've had 2 rounds of qualifying in the Pro 500, and he's dominated both of them. Tony, I noticed yesterday, last night when you started qualifying, you found a brand new line to run out there, and I see many riders have taken that line. How'd you figure that one out coming over the moguls?
I was just going, and I watched what is the fastest line, because for me, I think it's easier than to anybody else to pick up good lines. I've been doing this so many years that I just watch out the track. I go and check the track before the start, and I figure out what is good line, and I try that line during the race, and if it's not working very good, then I change the line. It's just that easy. I feel looking forward to go faster and faster, and I hope everybody else is getting faster, that we can have so much fun on the track that spectators like that type of racing more and more.
Well, I'll tell you, I can tell you right now, everybody's having a great time watching guys like Tony Hickman out here running very fast on one of the hottest skidoos in the country. This is a brand new scene for you, Jack Struthers, because we've got a whole straightaway of moguls, and we've got some quick S-curves, and of course the big straightaway down the back chute that you can crank them up to about 90 miles an hour. What's been the most troublesome spot for you on this course today?
Well, last heat it was a big long straightaway. We were kind of down on speed, and we got passed on the straightaway, but I don't know. The bumps are okay. It'd be nice if they were the whole way around the track. The corners are okay.
I notice you're not having any problems on the jump stand on the machine, though.
Well, I hope we don't. That's the idea, to stay on it.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been great, and Jack Struthers, he's a real force in this type of racing here, and we look for Jack Struthers to do very well this weekend at Canterbury Park. Well, we're down here in the pits with Todd Wolf right now. Todd Wolf, last night you ran your first round of qualifying in Pro 5, and you was the fastest sled on the course out there. Of all the sleds we timed, now what do you contribute that to?
The sled ran really well. I tried to pick some good lines. I watched the guys in front of me go, and I seen which lines were best. I had kind of an advantage.
Well, I don't know if you call that an advantage, even though I did see that you did follow some good lines out there, some of the previous runners, which a lot of the drivers I don't think did. But again, you ran very strong. The moguls didn't seem to give you any problem, and you had good speed down the straightaway.
Yeah, the sled ran very well. The sled took the jumps good, and the sled was fast. So
you're going to have a lot of fans cheering for that sled number 17, the big yellow one.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate that, and I'm glad there's some people cheering for me.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been great here at Canterbury Park, and this is one of the hottest riders you're going to see this weekend, and when we get down to the final racing, you'll see Todd Wolf right at the front of the pack. Well, I'll tell you now, as you fans have been watching a little bit today, we'll give you a little insight what's happening down on the start line. If we get a cam shot of this, you'll see these sleds are up on stands, and most of them run them. And what they do is they make sure they get them warmed up and, of course, cleaned out. And here you'll see it right here, and this will give you an opportunity. If we get the right shot, you'll see the wild-looking studs that stick out of these tracks. Now, these studs have to be 1/8 of an inch below the rubber part. As they speed this sled, they slow it down here. We'll pick it up, and you'll see these tracks are totally loaded with studs here. Boy, is this a nice shot, huh, Don? Come on, slow that thing down. There you go. Now you can see the studs as they stick up, and there is many, many studs in there. That's where the traction comes from. Now, the other thing they're going to do while they're warming these up, you'll see these guys up there kicking snow on those tracks so that they keep from wearing out that high backs they got on there. Otherwise, they're going to have a problem. But you'll see them doing that. That happens to be sled number 41 out there, and we all know who that is. He didn't come to the starting line up here to get introduced, but he is ready to go. But as you can see, there's some water down there in that area because those guys melt that ice with that hot exhaust coming off them. Also on the front of these sleds, on the runners, you can see these things. You won't see it here, but they have what we call carbide wear runners on them. And boy, I'll tell you, they cut into this ice, these things will turn on a dime. Well, we're going to clear them out, Donnie. You're going to go to work. It's going to be exciting.
All right. We've got 2 hours of running here, and here is your starter, Lewayne Loyland. The flag is up. All right, we're ready. The flag is down. Lewayne looking that lineup over, and there we go. We're started. The Pro 500 has started. Down the lineup, here they come. A Skidoo out in front. That's got to be Heikkinen in the white. Tony Heikkinen in that white outfit with the yellow helmet down the front straightaway. Right up through the lineup. Steve Hoole is running in the second spot. All the flights are underway. This is Brad Pake, airborne in second place. Brad Pake diving through those moguls. Pake has got it set up. Brad Pake is chasing Tony Heikkinen. That is going to be a race. Down around the backside, every flight is off the line, and they have all got to the middle of the mogul so far. They are scattered out in the back of the pack here, and the run is up front. That is Steve Hoole running in the number 3 position, and we'll check him beyond that. It is Tony Heikkinen, Brad Pake, Steve Hoole, and another Polaris up front, and the Skidoo and Todd Wolf just coming up the far outside right now. Todd Wolf is running in the number 7 position right now behind an Arctic Cat, trying to make a move out of that position. Tony Heikkinen out front, and Brad Pake is closing his door. Brad Pake is right up on the backside of Tony Heikkinen. He is going to make this little guy from Finland run for everything he's got. Down the front straightaway they come. Here's a couple of world champions running out here. All they got to do is stay on the sled. Tony Heikkinen up over those moguls. Brad Pake right along with him. They both take the same line. Pake a little bit rougher out of there. Pake over this one. Heikkinen coming through. And Heikkinen flies. Pake flying. And here they go again. Tony Heikkinen, Brad Pake. I'll tell you what they look like. Porpoises out there flying through the air. Steve Hoole. And then Jack Struthers behind him. Gary Goski and Grant Smalley.
Well, look what's happened up front. Right now we got a 2-sled race at this point, but it's early in the game. Right now we have got Tony Heikkinen running very strong. Brad Pake closed up the gap on him on the backstretch just to try him out, and I think Pake's probably got something left in that machine. Of course, maybe Heikkinen does too, we don't know. But the way they're high flying out here, you fans down here sitting below and standing outside have got the best seat in the house. And you're going to see that happen all evening long here because these guys are going to run for 100 laps or 2 hours. It's going to get crazy.
This is Heikkinen coming around, taking the outside line on the track once again. Brad Pake flying right along with him. These guys are going to have to give lessons here up and over those moguls, and they make nothing out of this track. Down the front side, Steve Hoole is running third. Then it is number 8, Jack Struthers. Behind them are 2 Arctic Cats, Grant Smalley and Gary Goski. Then Greg Hyde has moved on to the scene. And it is number 112, Lynn Cadillac moving up, and Nathan Titus moving ahead of Todd Wolf. Then Rugland, then Lee Falk. 78 is Spielman, and then the rest of the pack, Kirk Hibbert, way back here in about 10th or 12th place, trying to find a way to move up. Jeremy Lang trying to move through the pack. And flying in there is number 158, Mark Henham. 45 across the line is in the Skidoo. That is Wolf, Timmy Wolf. And in the back of the pack here, we've got an Arctic Cat that is bringing up the rear. This is number 10, the Rookie of the Year a year ago, Rob Irving. And Irving is way in the back of the pack. Here come your leaders. They are around here already. Heikkinen and Brad Peak. It isn't going to be long. They're going to be lapping up on the slower sleds here and having to work their way through traffic, maybe more than once. Heikkinen flying that sled. Brad Peak, he is not going to let Heikkinen show him anything. As off they go, and they're airborne out of here. Well, I'll tell you, they're just picturesque. .44 is Steve Houle, 8 is Jack Struthers.
Well, I'll tell you, these two Polarises better pick up the pace a little bit. Polaris has been very strong in the small classes today, but these guys don't seem to be getting any double mogul jumping going on, and that's where a lot of time is being made up here by the two front runners as they really stretch it out. And look what's happened now as these guys just keep blasting away. Heikkinen really doing the number.
Heikkinen has turned it on out here, and he is way ahead of Brad Fake now. And they are a half a lap ahead of the third place sled. Can you imagine that? These guys are a half a lap ahead. This is Sturgeon, number 212, who is off his sled down in front of you here. And he'll try and get that hooked up and get it moving once again. And by the time he gets going, he'll be lapped under these guys here, and he goes right back through the bales. He wasn't waiting for anybody. He took the shortest cut to the track. In the back is Rob Irving. Here come your leaders. Down around the front side, this is Tony Heikkinen and Brad Peak. Yes, they are so smooth. It is unbelievable. They don't even look like they jar themselves as they come through there. They have got this down to such a perfect level that they don't even pound on the sled.
That kind of looks like you and I out there riding, don't it, Don?
Brad Peak has dropped back to third. This is Jack Struthers, who is riding second right now. Brad Peak has dropped to third place. Greg Hyde is in fourth place. Tony Heikkinen coming through the pack here. He's setting it up, just flying beautifully. Look at him, take two sleds in the air. Takes two sleds in the air out of that jump. You gotta fly to win. Look at Kirk Hibbert take that jump. Kirk Hibbert got really wild airborne there, and he had to look. He's looking behind himself, see if there's anything left of that sled. He's hooking up his hood. His hood popped loose. He's hooking that up, and that took him a few seconds. Heikkinen's whole goal right now, as far as we're concerned, is to lap the field. Tony Heikkinen is right on the back door of Brad Peak. As Heikkinen comes around, he will be trying to lap up on Brad Peak. Kirk Hibbert is still running in the number 4 position, but he has dropped way behind Heikkinen here. Caught up a little bit in traffic. Here comes Tony Heikkinen by the third place sled. Tony Heikkinen has lapped all except one sled in this field. He has lapped everybody except Jack Struthers. This is Kirk Hibbert taking a spill down here. Hibbert was running in the number 4 position. Smalley goes by him. He'll drop back a few spots here. And Kirk's sled giving him a little trouble there. Got the hood dinged up a little bit. It's running. All right, he's got it set, and he's off and going once again. Kirk Hibbert, who has worked his way through that whole pack, has now dropped way back into the field once again. So even the good ones take a spill here once in a while. Watching down the backside here, Tony Heikkinen has lapped everybody but Jack Struthers. And Jack Struthers is in number 2 spot. Here comes Heikkinen. They got him on the camera. He's coming down the inside of the rail right now. Jack Struthers 100 yards in front of him. Tony Heikkinen up and over the jump. He's going to be able to stop here and have coffee when he fuels.
Well, I can tell you, I just went outside to watch this action firsthand, and they are literally beating these sleds for all they're worth. every one of them, when they come over the jumps, do they ever slam? It's just like a wrestler giving a guy a body slam. It is unbelievable, and I'll tell you what, the manufacturers have to be awful happy with all of their equipment in every brand because they are holding up tremendously. Can you imagine going out and buying one of these snowmobiles? You couldn't beat one this bad out there. Well, it's the halfway point right here as Wayne Loyland, our flagman, holds up a green and white flag. That means we're halfway home, guys. Some of those guys said, you got to be kidding me, halfway. I thought this thing should be over by now. But it's not. It's halfway home, and of course, Tony Heikkinen doing a great job on that fast-sponsored Skidoo out there.
Well, they're going to start coming in for fuel and stuff here, and that's going to even create a little more confusion. This is the second place sled, Jack Struthers, who is out here right now. Jack Struthers, Tony Heikkinen is in first place, so Heikkinen is closing up on Struthers once again. He has tried here for quite some time to get Jack Struthers where he can pass him, but hasn't been able to do it. All right, as they come through here, nobody's backing off when they jump yet. They're still pouring it through. These guys have no idea where they're at. They only know that they got to keep running until that checkered flag comes out. They don't know where they're at or how long they got left to go, but they know they got to go about 100 miles, and it's not an easy 100 miles. They're turning it on out here, and here comes your number 2 sled right here. This is Jack Struthers, who has run second just about all day long. Tony Heikkinen, coming over the jump here, is running in the number 1 spot. And third place is number 4, Greg Hyde. In fourth place is Brad Pake.
Well, I can tell you, I just got done clocking Tony Heikkinen. He has picked it up a notch. His first time I clocked him early in the race was 1:19.81. He is now running 1:19.13. So Tony Heikkinen has turned up the wick.
All right. Getting them ground out here, and Jesse Stregg coming over those jumps. Stregg's been off his sled 3 times, and he has backed out a bit.
Well, I'll tell you, he has done some high flying from down below. The fans are getting a real bird's eye view of some of these high flyers, like, of course, Tony Heikkinen's doing it all the time. And whoa, there's a rider off his sled, and that was a nasty one.
Brad Pake is out of the race, we hear. Oh, there goes Jesse Stregg, and he hit that mogul right square on the top. He hit right square on the top of that mogul, and it just threw him, catapulted him right over the top of the machine, and Jesse Stregg is hurt. I'm sure it took the wind out of him. He isn't going to give up. This guy is not a quitter. They're helping him down the field, but he's going down toward his sled. This is the 4th time he's been off that sled in this race. I'm sure it took the wind out of him. He isn't going to give up. This guy is not a quitter. This is Rob Irving, number 10, out of Duluth, Minnesota. He is coming down to his fuel stop. And his crew's sitting there. You can see him right directly down in front of you now as they do the fueling for Rob Irving here. You can see him stretching his legs, trying to relax a little bit while he's taking that short fuel stop. Jack Struthers and Tony Heikkinen. Heikkinen is still ahead. They're on the same lap, but only a few seconds apart. Struthers is, every lap is closing this gap. Jack Struthers is just getting stronger and stronger. This is Tony up over the jump. Struthers 100 yards behind now. Jack Struthers closing up on Tony Heikkinen. Up and over the jump. Struthers right here. You can see them together now. 3.5 seconds. He's taken another 2 seconds off the time. Jack Struthers is catching up to Tony Heikkinen. Brad Pake, who was early up there in the top 3 or 4, is burned down. He is out. This is Paul Mack coming through here. Kurt Hibbert.
If by chance he gets a break on these machines that's in front of him here and it gets him some clear running, you're going to see him clear 3 double moguls in a row. No question about it. He is going to put some daylight between him and Jack Struthers because Struthers is not running that hard in the moguls. He is taking every mogul single.
Jack Struthers is able to catch him down in the cornering and so forth, but it is the moguls where Tony Heikkinen shines. And Struthers on the inside line now. Tony Heikkinen, they're almost side by side coming down here. Tony Heikkinen on the inside of the track, and Struthers hits the brakes. Struthers had to hit the brakes as Tony Heikkinen slowed in front of him. This is Struthers. Struthers has got it. Jack Struthers got the lead. Heikkinen's got the lead. Jack Struthers had it for a minute, and Tony Heikkinen cranked it up.
Well, this is like the NASCAR races we see. This is like the Daytona 500 right here at Canterbury Park, and I'll tell you, it's going to be a photo finish all the way, ladies and gentlemen. So if they went home early, they're going to miss the greatest finish in snowmobile racing, as Heikkinen and Struthers right now heading down the back straightaway. And once they get by the sled in front of them, boy, I'll tell you, they got a little running room, these guys. So it should be interesting when they come through the moguls this time. Well, evidently, Heikkinen must have found out when he pulled alongside him that this race was for real. He did not have the almost full lap lead on the whole field. Jack Struthers, he's run against them many times. They don't come out any tougher than Jack Struthers.
Heikkinen is into that corner now. Tony Heikkinen is running for it now. He knows that he's in a race right now. He had it pretty easy before when he had a whole lap on the entire field. That is not the situation anymore, and I'll guarantee you that Tom Rieger has been on that sideline and given him some kind of signal. Struthers through once again, and he slows on that jump. Tony Heikkinen doesn't. Heikkinen's got a sled in front of him, goes to the inside. This is Struthers. Heikkinen flies the big one now. Struthers, oh, Jack Struthers hit it head on. That hurt. That did hurt. The clock is ticking here as we come down on 2 hours. It'll be a 2-hour time limit on this race. Around the back corners come the leaders. Jack Struthers running second. Tony Heikkinen. Struthers challenged him early on, gave it everything he had, closed right up on his back bumper. Tony Heikkinen reached down and found something else. And here he comes. He is really flying now. Right out. Ooh, he almost caught that rail with his ski. He almost caught the rail with his ski, and he's caught in traffic. Heikkinen is caught up in traffic. He's got 6-8 sleds in front of him. Trying to work his way through here. Flies in, cuts down across, picks up 4 or 5 of them through here, and Jack Struthers coming behind. Tony Heikkinen picking up about 4 or 5 sleds off those jumps. As Jack Struthers was flying right along with him until he topped that mogul and almost threw himself off the sled. After that, he backed off a little bit, and that was what Tony Heikkinen needed to set the pace. A white flag will be coming up here. Tony Heikkinen will be the 5th sled to cross. He's inside the rail, up over the jump. Here comes Tony Heikkinen. He's betrayed him and the flag man. The white flag is out. Tony Heikkinen will get the white flag. 1 lap to go to Tony Heikkinen. Jack Struthers, where is he? Here comes Jack Struthers. Jack Struthers is in, and the white flag is out to him. So Tony Heikkinen, he's got 3/4 of a lap to go here and to jump into that glass-drawn boat. Down around the backside, we've got Don Dominy down in the winner's circle, and he will be talking to Tony Heikkinen as soon as he shuts that machine down. Down around, 1W is a half a lap away here. Tony Heikkinen 1/2 a lap away. He's into the number 3 corner. Coming into number 3, Phil flying out there. He is not backed off. He's got the lead. He's going to come in under a blaze of glory. Into that last turn. Coming out of the number 4 corner and down toward the front straightaway. Tony Heikkinen still passing people on the rail. Off he comes out of the number 4 corner, down on the rail, just like the thoroughbred. Inside, down through that groove. He is flying out here. Tony Heikkinen, airborne. Here he comes right up along the rail. Cuts to the middle of the track. He's coming at you, Lewayne. Right down through the middle. The flag is out. Here he is, Tony Heikkinen, and the checkered flag. Tony Heikkinen shuts it down and takes it to the sidelines right through the middle of the field. Tom Rieger is there, and they throw their arms around each other in a big bear hug. And this has been a very, very grueling race. You have seen 2 hours of the toughest competition you will ever see in a snowmobile activity. All right, here he is, Tony Heikkinen.
Bring it right in here, Tony. Boy, I'll tell you what an exciting day. Let's hear it for Tony Heikkinen, ladies and gentlemen. the winner of the Canterbury Super Enduro. Well, Tony, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you feel good enough to talk. It's been 2 hours of grueling running out there. What'd you think when Jack Struthers wheeled right up alongside of you? In fact, he got ahead of you for a moment.
I didn't care anymore when I saw Struthers pass me once, and I said, that's not going to happen again. I'm going to go fast.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm sure Jack Struthers was awful surprised when you just kind of put it back on him again, but he's been a challenger all year for you. You've looked at the taillights on his, and he's looked at your taillights once in a while, but it was your day today. You have won 5 events that you've been in. You've won all 3 qualifying heats. Now you have won the Grand Super Enduro right here at Canterbury Park.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say, but I want to thank everybody who was helping me and everybody who was yelling to me, and all my sponsors and my mechanics, my father, and of course Jack Struthers. He gave me a great race.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, they call him the Flying Finn, and I think it'll fit. It's Tony Heikkinen, number 1. And I'll tell you, he's about out of wind. I'm kind of holding him up here because he has had a battle. Well, right with me now, I've got Jeff Brunson from Skidoo, and I'll tell you, it's been an exciting weekend for you, Jeff, and of course all your people with Todd Heikkinen running so very strong and winning this event. And the one question I'd like to ask you, what does this do for your program, not only your racing program, but your machine sales program? It's got to be a real plus for you.
Oh, it is. It's very important. You know, what wins on Sunday does sell on Monday. We know that. We've put some effort into it. We've got a great team, some great partnerships between Tony, Todd, and Fast. They've really helped us get here in the winner's circle today.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. I'll tell you, the Skidoo people are very happy this weekend as they take home the first ever Canterbury Park Grand Enduro event right here at Shakopee, Minnesota. It's been wild out here. We've had plenty of racing. We've had over 200 sleds entered in this event, and when we ended up tonight, we had 39 sleds start the feature event in the Pro 500, and when we got all said and done, we ended up with about 25 machines left in it. So the sleds held up very well. After 2 hours of major blasting on these guys, they really worked out very hard. I'll tell you, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Heikkinen. Let's hear it for him. What a great champion he is. Well, I'll tell you, put the bathing suit on and you'll be ready for action, pal.
Hey, Tony, you like boats?
Yeah, I have already one, but not too bad to have 2.
Good job.
Well, I'll tell you, these guys, all the photographers down here taking some pictures of Tony. And of course, they asked the question, did you like boats? He said, already got 1. Now he's got 2. Well, Tony, I think you better pick up a couple of these good-looking gals and take them with you.
Pardon?
You better take along a couple of these good-looking gals from over here so you got somebody riding this boat.
I don't know exactly what to do with those things.
I'll guarantee you they will teach you what you need to know. When you're a champion, you're always a champion. It's been a great day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to, of course, have our award ceremony a little bit later here this evening if you'd like to stick around. We do want to thank you for coming out for the first Grand Enduro here at Canterbury Park.
We asked Sports Tech sponsored racer Chip Beatty how he does it. 500 miles in 4 days. He told us about his back thing. Then we said, doesn't your thumb get sore holding the throttle pin day in and day out? He showed us his thumb thing. Then we said, surely your knees must take an awful beating, all that jumping. He said, no problem. He wears a knee thing. Go faster, feel better, no problem. Call Sports Tech today at 1-800-279-7123.
Well, hi,
everybody. Gary Lumpkin here, welcoming you to BIR. That's Brainerd International Raceway, Central Minnesota. Yes, Brainerd International Raceway is well known in racing circles for NASCAR, for Winston Cup, for all forms of racing. But as you can see from the breath coming from my mouth, it's winter time. And that means winter racing. That means snowmobile racing. So that means ISOC. That means it's the Brainerd 200, the McDonald's. Brainerd 200 ISOC racing is coming at you. Tell me about ISOC racing. What can you tell me about ISOC from your vantage point with all your experience?
Well, I think ISOC is what we've been waiting for. It's a circuit for the professional as well as the amateurs. It's a place for the grassroots racer to start. The one thing I really like about ISOC racing is they keep everything legal. I mean, if it's stock racing, it's stock racing. They're consistent. They do the technical inspections, and everybody knows that you don't cheat because you will be caught. And so it's a fair playground for all snowmobile racers, and it's a outstanding pro circuit. They pay good money, and they're there, you know, to help the driver. We can build machines for the race circuit that will work, you know, will be a good consumer machine as well as on the race circuit. It's got to be a machine that'll perform in all types of terrain. They don't just keep it to one designated type of conditions. We have lake racing, we have cross-country racing, there's rough tracks, there's some high-speed running. So
all under the ISOC circuit? All under the ISOC circuit.
So, I mean, if you win on an ISOC race, you're a true, you know, it's usually the man, the best driver that wins out. But of course,
pretty good test for your machines too.
Absolutely, it's an outstanding test. Yeah, we look forward to these races. We are sponsors of ISOC. It's been something that we've been looking for for a long time. It's a consistent playing field.
Tell me about your relationship with ISOC.
Well, about 3-4 years ago, there was no real circuit that was big and professional that was doing for cross-country racing, and we seen there was a real dire need for that. And at the time, John Daniels, Gary Walton, and Jerry Erickson, and some individuals got together, called the manufacturers in and said, should we do a cross-country race circuit? More professional, more money. Let's go to some places like BIR and Detroit Lakes and the Pine Lake race, things like that. And we said, yes, definitely, we want to do that. We were seeing that's where we wanted to build sleds. That's our proving ground. And it did exactly what we thought it would. It just took off like gangbusters. Plus, on the engineering side of it, it's where we can kind of beat the daylights out of the sled, you know, and develop new machines out of that. Our ZRs, for instance, have come from this type of racing. 3 years ago, we weren't very competitive in cross-country racing. We went to our racers and said, what do you need to do this type of racing? They told us. We built and developed the ZR, and then now we have a very competitive and good sled now, and it's carried out through our line.
Most people know we haven't been involved in ISOC racing or cross-country racing for quite some time, and we jumped back into the arena about 3 years ago. We could recognize that was the future of racing in terms of marketing ability. So we got into it. We got into it heavily this year. We're really excited about it. This event is a perfect example. We bring a full factory display here to display our new models. Probably some of the greatest drivers in the world are here. You know, you got the Kirk Hibberts from Arctic, you got the Jack Struthers from Polaris. We're very proud of a couple people that we have. We have a kid from Finland by the name of Tony Hankinen. We have a kid by the name of Todd Wolf, which won the last ISOC event, which, by the way, was our first ISOC victory. So we think ISOC is the future. We think so much of it, we built a sled just to go ISOC racing. We never had a 440cc in our lineup, and that's what you have to run. So we built one. So that should tell you something, you know, what we think of it.
Well, no question about it. Ice hockey racing means exciting snowmobile racing, but you ain't seen nothing yet, because over my shoulder, 31 machines, drivers, and pit crews are getting ready as they are staging right now for the final here at the Brainerd, the McDonald's Brainerd 200. And I got to tell you, think about this. You talk about excitement, you talk about tents. Okay, yes, they're going to race 25 laps. Yes, they're going to be racing 2 hours. But think of this. Those 31 machines, in just a split second, will be working their way through this first corner, a corner that's only wide enough for about maybe 3 or 4 machines side by side. So do the math. 31 into 3. You got excitement coming. It's happening moments away.
So we're set to go with racing here. This is what you came for, the Pro 500 25 lap final, 80 miles out here on this rough, tough, challenging BIR course. All right, the signal is up to the drivers to stand by. The flag is on the toe, and they're off. The first line is out of there. Jesse Strake, the leader. Jesse Strake followed by Hansen. It is Strake and Hansen into that first corner. They are off the line. They're going to let them make that corner, and then they'll turn the second lap loose. This is 25 laps. Jesse Strake out in front. Here goes the second line, and it is 44 Steve Houle off that second line first. Steve Houle taking those bumps. They're flying through that corner. Everybody's still on their sled as they make the turn, and Jesse Strake opens up that lead. Strake has been a contender all along, but he's had problems with that sled breaking down. Eric Logie coming out, doesn't get the first spot as one of the Arctic Cats. Jeremy File, I think it is, number 92, gets a jump on him into that corner. And the third row is off. As they clear the corner, and there's some sleds tangled up in that corner, they break free right now and start down the track. And this is Brian Rust who takes off out of that third row, getting passed by Hockinen. Hockinen moves to the front in the skidoo out of row number 4 as we've got them all off here and without any mishap. A fantastic starting job by Llewellyn Loyland and John Daniels as they get all these sleds off the line. 31 sleds out of that first corner and spread out across the track without any major mishap. A fantastic start. Congratulations, guys, on a great program. We're underway here in the first lap of 25, and we'll do our best to try and keep track of the leaders for you. Jesse Strake apparently has had some problems. He has gone from first to last in one lap. Jesse Strake was the first sled into the turns and out across the racetrack. He was way out in front of everybody as they headed out on the first lap, and he has dropped to the very back of the pack here on sled number 99 out of Lancaster. Looks like we have a change in the leadership unless we missed something somewhere along the line. This is Jack Struthers on the Polaris, who looks like he's in the lead as they come around the bend. Here's the first sled through on lap number 2. Struthers was running in second place the last lap, and it is Jack Struthers on that Polaris carrying the Polaris banner that Ray Munsroot says will take it all today. So it is Struthers out in front. There's a lot of laps to go. Brad Pake has dropped back into the number 2 spot with sled number 53. In third place, coming around the bend and heading toward the line, this should be Hansen, number 21, and it is. Hansen still running in the number 3 spot. And then we have a Skidoo who has moved up into the number 4 position. This has got to be either Wolf or Hockinen. This should be Hockinen. Tony Hockinen has moved up into the number 4 spot on that 1W Skidoo. We have a Polaris next in the lineup in the number 5 position through the gate. That is number 3, Corey Davidson. Then Spielman, number 78, and he is followed now by Kirk Hibbert, who has moved into the top 10. The next sled across the line is a Polaris coming up and through, and that is number 4, Greg Hyde. And then number 10, Rob Irving. 212 is Dan Sturgeon almost unloading on that corner. Then Todd Wolf coming through the line.
We do have the timer on Honkinen. We'll let you know how he does on this lap because he is really moving to the front of the pack. You know, it seems odd here, but Heikkinen's the only one that's really putting any moves on anybody.
This should be Struthers coming through again. Our leader, Jack Struthers, coming to the line. Struthers on the Polaris is still out in front.
And the recent time on Struthers, 5:09 with an 06, 5:09 with an 06 for Jack Struthers. We also have the clock on Tony Heikkinen. And we'll keep an eye out for him momentarily.
Struthers had the big lead, and Brad Pake is hanging on to third as they come through here for the 7th time today. Heading out on lap number 8.
We'd like to remind you once again the times the last time around, and goes without saying that Tony Hawkinen had been running about 15 seconds or so faster than had Jack Struthers. The last time around, the times leveled out just a little bit. 5:09 with an 06 for Struthers and a 5:07 with a 4.3 for Tony Heikkinen. And Heikkinen going a little bit faster, but nowhere near as much faster as he had been previously. And as we mentioned, 5:09.06 for Jack Struthers and a 5:07.43 for Heikkinen.
Tony Heikkinen on sled number 1W, sponsored by Fast, up over that and slowing down a little bit through here into those jumps.
Well, we're a sponsor of this event. We believe that ISOC is a real racers racing circuit.
Why?
Well, they get a lot of time on the track. The racers get to put a lot of time out on the track, a lot of testing, and it pays well. It pays for the racers to come here. He has pretty good sized purses and so forth, which you're probably already knowledgeable about. But it's a good all-around event. And it's a good cross between snowcross and cross-country racing, where this isn't a stadium, but it's damn close to being one.
Fast Incorporated has, well, you got the new suspension of the future. How do you want to describe that?
Well, I would say the M10 definitely is the future. We started the future about 4 years ago when we brought it back here in the U.S. We developed the M10 over in Sweden and Finland on the race circuits over there. We call it the smart suspension. And the reason why we call it that is because the front and the rear swing arms actually communicate to each other when the terrain or forces are changing on the sled. We developed it in racing, but we produced it for the aftermarket, for the consumers.
So you have a big relationship with Arctic Cat. What about your relationship with ISOC?
Well, we're one of the sponsors of ISOC, and we have made an arrangement with them to do some clothing sales, and we put them on the back of our catalog this year. Sent out about 15,000 copies of the catalog, and it's worked out real well.
What do you mean worked out real well?
Well, we sell a lot of their clothing, and any type of exposure we can give to ISOC, because it's probably one of the fastest growing circuits in the nation, right now, and any kind of exposure we can give it a national exposure rather than just regional will help it.
Why would you say ISOC is one of the fastest growing circuits? What stand it stand out?
Virtually anybody can compete. The cost of the expenses of competing is not as great as that of oval racing as it is today, and they're using stock-bodied snowmobiles. They're using stock-type machines, and it's just a matter of refining it to make it work real well.
Real excited to be involved with ISOC this year. It's an upcoming sport, and we're just happy to be here.
Well, no, tell me about ISOC. What is your relationship with them?
We're the official trailer of ISOC. We're going to go to many of the events this year. We supplied ISOC with a tech trailer, and we'll be at many of the events with a display.
So you've been with the NASCAR folks for, I assume, a number of years?
Yes, we've been involved with them for quite a few years.
Okay, and that's a well-known entity in racing. ISOC is let's compare it as a newer kid on the block. You see a long-term thing, I suppose, hopefully the same kind of relationship?
Yes, definitely. I feel that ISOC has probably one of the most potential in the snowmobile industry as the NASCAR has in the motorsports marketing.
We're about halfway through here. And this was Kirk Hibbert is in second place. Kirk Hibbert has moved into the number 2 spot. Brad Pake is drawn to third, and Heikkinen did not come around. He may have gone to fuel, or he may have gone down and pulled.
Well, Heikkinen coming back out apparently, and it looked as though he went off turn number 10 just a little bit ago, but came back out right here. So
he may be fueled.
Yeah, Heikkinen obviously going down into the pits, picking up some fuel. Little different strategy. Looks like it appears that Heikkinen is probably the first racer in the pits this afternoon.
He may have had some problems that he had to go down there. They can make repairs in that area, and Heikkinen just starting to get this sled cranked up once again, but it has given Kirk Hibbert a chance to close within a minute of the leader, Struthers, and of course both of those sleds at some point will have to fuel.
Well, I'll tell you, as far as this fuel thing goes, I'm sure they're playing the game with the fuel, even though they do have to stop. But right now, Struthers is in the best position. He's already made his pit stop. Kurt Hibbert has not made a pit stop, even though it could be a short one. It's still going to drop him back a ways, no question about it, as Struthers just keeps moving on from him.
John, to that machine. Okay, so problems with that leader, and there's been some changes now. It gets more difficult as we go along to keep track of the mid-runners out here. We can keep track of the front runners and try and lay that on you, but as we get farther into the pack and into the race here, it becomes more difficult. You know, racers yesterday, and we had an opportunity to talk to several of them, in 2 laps of competition, did about half in the studs and things. You're looking at 25 laps here this afternoon. They have to be getting into a situation late in this race where some of the handling on those machines is going away, and it's going to be very, very difficult down the stretch to keep them going exactly where they want them to go.
Well, it would certainly seem to me that this is a kind of a test today, especially with all the bumps and then the dirt perhaps too. This is pretty tough on the machines.
Yeah, it'll be real tough on the machines. You know, it's one thing to land over big bumps on snow, but when you're landing on dirt, it's a lot harder on them. They're not really made to take land on dirt. So I don't know, I can't imagine there's going to be quite a few broken sleds today.
Now, this event is run by an organization called ISOC. How does it compare to the organizations in terms of the event in Europe?
I would say the races and tracks are so different in Europe that we can't compare. We can compare association because like in Finland and in all Europe, we have same association. It's they call it I can't remember what's the name of the association. It's not any kind of we are not making any money when we are racing, and they are not paying to us, and just a racing association.
So ISOC, in that respect, the fact that they do pay money that's a better deal, I suppose, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Well, you got to feel pretty good about your chances. You had a good qualifying, but tell me about this course.
It's definitely different than what we normally run on. It's almost entirely dirt out there now. Tomorrow will be, I'm sure, just a dirt race. So it takes a little different setup, a little different kind of driving.
But now you're used to making right and left turns, so what's the difference?
Right and left turns is good to me. I don't mind the right-hand turns at all. So it's a real twisty, tight course. There's not hardly any speed to it. It's all driving on how you hit the bumps and dodge the moguls, set up on the corners, that kind of stuff.
You think it's tougher for driver or machine?
It's tougher on both, but there's going to be a lot of broken equipment here. I think it's if a guy drives too hard, he's going to break his machine.
There's a sled coming through. I think this is Jesse Streg. He's got the windshield and the hood busted completely off from that sled. That is Jesse Streg. So Streg, who had problems earlier on, has now ripped the hood off of that sled. All he's got is a little piece of trim around the base of the hood. He comes around the corner right now. This is Heikkinen coming around the corner right now. He is in second place. 1 lap down is number 39, Tom Belair. This is number 2 right here, 1W. Tony Heikkinen is in second place. Brad Pake was the 3rd place runner, and we are waiting to see where he is at. This is Brad Pake out in front of you with 1 lap to go. He is running 3rd. So Pake is in the number 3 position. About a half a lap to go here as we wait for the leaders to come around. If Jack Struthers wins it with the contingencies, he will win $11,800 today. Greg Hyde is in 4th position. So Struthers $11,800 on the line here if he can win it for Polaris today, and he is the leader coming around for the last time. Here's your leader coming around the bend. Down that straightaway, into the last corner. Up over the checkered flag is Jack Struthers, and Polaris has won it today, as Ray Monrood predicted yesterday. Jack Struthers is the winner out here. Unofficially, $11,800. He's got to go through Tech, but Struthers is the first one across the line today.
Well, Jack, congratulations. You just had a few moments to kind of collect yourself. What do you think?
Oh, it feels good. I can win.
You got to be pooped, though.
I don't know. I'm kind of tired, but not that bad.
I mean, everybody thought this was going to be a super test for machine, for driver. Did it turn out to be that way?
Oh, definitely. That dirt's hard on equipment and stuff, and, the Polaris is tough and stay together, and you just got to, kind of be careful on it and not go wide open into the dirt and stuff like that. And everything held together, and we made it.
So what does an Idaho guy think about isoc racing now?
It's better.
It's always better when you're number one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I thought you'd say. Congratulations.
Thanks. I was a little hurry at first because I knew that I'm almost the last one, and I need to get to the top 3. That was what I was going to do.
Somehow you managed to do it. How did you pass so many drivers? Like I said, within 2 laps, you had gone from 4th row to within the top 5. How did you get by all those people so quickly?
I was just pushing the throttle instead brake.
And as Jack Struthers continues with the interviews here at Winner's Circle here at Brainerd International Raceway, you have seen it all, folks. Another great isoc snowmobile racing event. The Brainerd 200 is history, and it lived up to everything that folks thought it would be. It was indeed a test for machine and for rider, and the folks that were here got their money's worth. We hope you had a chance to enjoy our brief introduction to this event here to you as well. And hey, isoc racing, it doesn't come any better, and this proved it. Gary Lumpkin here saying goodbye and hope to see you on the next isoc snowmobile racing event. See you later, everybody.